a component made up of people who are non-Hebrews, non-Jews who could become Jews. That's it. It's just having an open door policy. I don't want everybody to become Jewish, but I think that if someone's serious about God and is sincere and it's going to add luster to our people, then for sure convert.
So my thing is I think it's funny because I feel like she just admitted that Jews are not doing what they should to be a light to the nations, but stay out. We don't want you.
I think that it's a great idea for us to educate people. I just think that's separate than actively saying you should convert.
I don't know what the difference is. I don't know.
Hey, this is what I do. And obviously, if someone likes what you're doing and wants to live that life, they'll say, hey, how can I join? You don't necessarily have to say, well, you can convert. You should convert without them really understanding what's going on.
It's a problem people picking and choosing what they want to keep in the Word of God. Because you're basically saying, okay, if you like Shabbos, keep that. But if you want to dishonor your parents, do that. If you don't want to take care of the widow, the orphan, the stranger, do that also. No, in the Chumash, there's only one way to please God. And I'm not talking about Torah Shabbat Peh. I understand the rabbis teach that if you keep the 7 Noahide laws, you're righteous. That's hard for me to believe that anyone could be considered righteous in this planet by only keeping 7 laws. But whatever. It seems that from a Torah perspective, there's only one way to please God. And that's by keeping his commandments. That's it. There's no notion of a righteous Gentile in the Torah. What?
So you don't believe in the Torah?
No, I do believe in the Torah. What are you talking about? No, I believe in it so much that because God didn't state there was another standard, why should we state it to Gentiles who are looking for ethics in their life? Right? I mean, so we have a principle in Judaism. Safek derabanan lehakel and safek deraita lechumra. That if you have a safek, like a question on something from the rabbis, you're commanded to be lenient. If you have a question on something from the Torah, you're commanded to be strict. If you're going to ask, what's God's will for my life, right? You have to be strict and assume that he wants you to keep what appears in the Torah, because you're not going to bring rabbinic thought into it. Because nowhere in the Torah does it mention 7 laws of Noah for Gentiles. It just doesn't mention it. It mentions the notion of a ger toshav, whatever that happens to be. It says you're allowed to give him nevela, like an animal that dies on its own. That's all it says. But nowadays, we have people who want to follow Torah, and rabbis are saying, no, remain a Noahide. It makes absolutely no sense. If someone is serious about it, let them convert. Okay? If they're not, by definition, you're a Noahide. Okay? Keep the 7 Noahide laws. The Noahide laws are there to separate you from the animal. But it's not the highest that someone should aspire to become. If your child wants to enter the medical field, you're going to encourage him to be a doctor. He can't make it, be a doctor's assistant, right? Obviously.
That's not a good comparison. You can't compare becoming a doctor to spiritual elevation.
Ethical elevation. Forget about spirituality.
Why? Would you not say those statements and then explain it? Like, say it and then explain why you believe that, please.
What are you asking?
You said you can't compare it to being a doctor, but then you leave that like an open-ended statement. Like, explain why you believe that.
Well, if you're going to say this is going to make... Okay. When you become a doctor, there's specific exams you take. There's a specific way of doing that, right? When you say be a moral person, what does that mean? It's not as clear of an answer as like becoming a doctor. It's based off of science, which is much easier to understand and test for.
I'm being an ethical person, but converting to Judaism. There's tests that many rabbis will give you before you convert, or they'll ask you questions for sure. It's still a procedure you have to go through. Doctors have to go through 8 years of college or whatever, right? And you have to go through a conversion program. Still, shoot higher. That's the point. Shoot higher. Try to go to the highest level you could. And if you can't make it, then fall back on whatever. But I think the average person who wants to convert will convert. I have to deal with too much crap. I think you agree with me. Look, you have to be taught otherwise. There's many areas in your life that you teach that what's good for you is good for others. Absolutely. Jews are masters of marketing. Okay, we just don't market Judaism. I don't know why, when Judaism doesn't prohibit it.
What? Wait, hold up. Why are Jews masters at marketing specifically?
Why do you think? I mean, honestly,
because we value education and we value parnasa. I'm not gonna say it in English, but we do value these things.
We've peddled every vile movement out there. Okay, that when we want an idea to get out, it gets out. From communism, feminism, liberalism, wokeism. These are all essentially secular Jewish movements. Okay, it's nothing new. When Jews believe in spreading their ideas. They just don't believe in spreading Judaism. And that didn't come from Orthodoxy. It came from secular Jews, which in some way diminished how they feel as Jewish, because if being Jewish means that you have to believe and do something. If that's what distinguishes a Gentile from a Jew, which is what conversion teaches, then it means that they're not truly Jewish. I mean, this is the average person who has a sentiment that Jews accept all people. It's not Orthodox. Or whatever. I'm sure someone's listening. It's not Orthodox, because the halakha is that if a Gentile breaks any one of the 7 Noahide laws, he's executed. That's the halakha. That's nothing to aspire to. Okay? You aspire to keep Torah. This idea like, no, we accept anyone. It's not true. You know, even regarding Noahides, it's Noahides who believe in the Noahide system because it came through Moshe Rabbeinu. I mean, to some extent. And they're called the Chesidei Mot Olam. I mean, it's not any Gentile who happens to think he's doing a good job, to the point that almost every Orthodox Jew will teach you that a Christian is not part, a Christian doesn't keep the 7 Noahide laws. So what they're basically saying is that don't convert to Judaism, but if you're a Christian, you're not going to make it to heaven anyways. You know, so there's no redemption for these people. There's no option for them. I mean, for sure it's not Judaism because you're not willing to help them convert. You know, it's not Noahidism because they don't fit your criteria of 7 laws. So they can't say that we believe all good people get to heaven. You know, anyways, the Noahide movement is a part of Judaism. You know, so if someone promotes the Noahide movement, they are proselytizing to a certain extent.